Hello, and thanks for tuning in again. This is the Aftermath, and today we have the sector of technology. With me to help me parse through the complex picture that we're seeing is Divya Mathur from the Emerging Markets team. Divya, really good to see you.
Great to be here, Kim.
So Divya, let's start off with the obvious. We've had a few months already of this pandemic and global retrenchment in economic growth. How has the sector fared?
Well, it's been really interesting, Kim, because going into 2020, there were high expectations of the technology sector. We have some real long-term structural growth drivers. And what COVID-19 did was it just put a little pause on those. Technology as a sector has performed really well. And we did see a slight underperformance, but it's great to see that the markets have recognized those long-term growth drivers that we are so excited about taking the key. And those drivers are all based around 5G and the ultimate rollout of 5G into the world.
Yeah, that makes sense, Divya. So tell me, before we go to 5G, which I do want to go to, what have you personally marked down as a development that you've seen that is, a departure, I guess, for the future?
So coming into COVID-19, we were seeing a reallocation of the supply chain. And now this was obviously due to some of the challenges we've had in the previous years with regards to US restrictions. But it certainly made a lot of the technology companies think about having all their supply chain based in China. Now, for the last 30 years or so, everyone's really talked about the centralized supply chain model, have as much supply and manufacturing facilities in China to feed the rest of the world. What we've seen over the last few years is a reassessment of that and trying to diversify away from China into other parts of Asia, ASEAN, South America. This is being highlighted as a golden opportunity for India in particular, with its large workforce. So that is something that's been very different, and we're seeing a number of tech companies do that. Now, we've even gone one stage further, which is just recently TSMC announced a manufacturing facility for its leading edge nodes in the US. So this is semiconductor manufacturing happening in the US. Again, very different to what we would have been thinking about 3 or 4 years ago. So I would say that this is a big difference. And it's going to be really key for the companies who are investing outside China into these other regions to ensure they maintain their profitability. What we are seeing to help this is an increased investment in automation.
So Divya, you did mention the word 5G. I do have to mention Huawei and the US government and all the geopolitics around that. What does that make you feel about the future for the sector?
Yeah, this is an issue, and we've seen more and more interference from the US administration in particular, but it's not just exclusively by the US administration to tech companies, and in particular Chinese tech companies. We've had challenges from as far back as 2014, when the US restricted the issuance of visas to Indian software engineers. It's moved on to the semiconductor sector as well. We saw the bid for Micron by the Chinese also. That was not approved. So it is a problem. And what we're now recently seeing is the Indians banning some of the large Chinese super apps such as WeChat and TikTok, and potential talk that the US may do the same. So what this is doing is it's making us think more about the regulatory environment, looking at local apps and looking at those apps where there's less political risk and there's less geopolitical risk as well.
Well, that makes sense to me. Divya, thank you very much for helping us through this, and thank you for watching. Again, this is The Aftermath, and please tune in next week. We'll have something completely different.